Hi guys, I wanted to do a quick little video on personal items and my first aid kit for the backcountry. Nothing in this list is even remotely expensive because most of it you should already have probably in your kitchen medicine or in your bathroom medicine cabinet, but I just wanted to kind of go over most of this stuff just to kind of show you what I'm packing. You can also comment obviously if you feel like I left something out. I'd love to hear it, but this is what I'm going into the into a backcountry hunt with for my personal items and my first aid kit. First thing and most importantly for me, my eyesight is awful. I wear contacts, and without my contacts I'm in bad shape. So obviously I pack a case and I pack contact solution. I actually am trying to find a smaller little bottle of this stuff because obviously this one's a little bigger than I need for just a week in the backcountry. But contacts and contact solution, or contact case and contact solution. Also a spare set of contacts. I've lost contacts I had one tear once while I was just on vacation. I wasn't even, in the woods or anything. And it really sucked. It took a lot of the value out of the trip. Obviously, you need your eyes to hunt. So because I'm going on a backcountry hunting trip, I'm bringing extra eyes. Also, I'm bringing just a little bottle of Visine in case my eyes get irritated, because obviously being out in the woods, you've got dust, pollen, dirt, things like that that can irritate your eyes. So having some Visine is a good thing. Also in my personals kit, toothbrush and toothpaste for obvious reasons. I do have the handle sawed off of my toothbrush, but the reason it's sawed off isn't for weight. It's because everything fits nice and neat in this little, this is probably about a 5x6 or 5x7 pouch, and sawing the handle off made it fit better. In terms of more first aid type stuff, the items that I'm bringing for like wound care, that kind of thing. Obviously, I'm bringing some an assortment of different size Band-Aids. Also, in the backcountry, when you're out hiking, one of the things that can ruin your trip faster than anything at all is blisters. So I've got some moleskin padding for blister treatment. I don't typically get blister problems, but just in case I have some while I'm out in the backcountry, I want to make sure I've got this with me. I also have just a little condensed down roll of athletic tape for taping up a sprained ankle or something like that. I put it on I think this is actually a cut off like tube for a writing pen. This is actually half a roll of athletic tape. Most of the volume in an athletic tape roll is taken up by that big hollow cardboard tube in the middle. You can actually fit this half roll of athletic tape inside the space in that tube. So there you go. Take some athletic tape, wrap it around a pin, and then cut the pin off. Also, a chapstick. This is great for covering up irritations. Chapstick obviously good for lips as well. And then of course I never miss the opportunity to bring more duct tape with me, so I've got some duct tape wrapped around the chapstick roll because you never know when you could use some duct tape. Also, I have a set of tweezers that go into my first aid kit because, again, splinters, things getting into things, having a pair of tweezers can be very, very handy. I don't bring a ton in the way of medications with me, just some basic stuff. The biggest concern you're going to have in the backcountry are gastrointestinal type things. So I've got some like Imodium AD anti-diarrheal pills, as well as just some good old-fashioned Tums in my little bag of medicine. Other than that, I also have a few Zyrtec, the allergy pills, because occasionally I get hay fever. I use this this first aid kit year round, and especially in the spring and summer, having that allergy medicine is nice. Probably won't need it this fall. And then I also have some Aleve in here because Aleve is my anti-inflammatory pain, you know, sore muscles, twisted joints, medicine of choice. Also, something from just a hygiene standpoint, wet ones. These are great, obviously, in addition to, you know, carrying toilet paper with you, having these sort of things to help keep things fresh in the backcountry is nice. They're also just handy for being able to just clean your hands. If you've been camping for a couple of days, the grossness under your fingernails and just on your hands can get overwhelming, and just the ability to take a wet wipe and clean up your hands can actually really just kind of improve your morale. So having wet ones is a good idea. A couple of other little items that aren't necessarily first aid kit specific, but since I always have my personal item baggie with me, I've got a couple of emergency survival items that I keep in there as well. I keep a Mylar survival blanket. I've got a bunch of these laying around the house because I bought a big package of them from Amazon a couple of years ago and haven't had an emergency where I needed it. But it doesn't weigh anything, and it could really come in handy in a few different situations there in the woods. So having one of these in my baggie is always there. And then I also have just a little Altoids tin emergency fire kit. It's just, you know, Altoids tin, and in that I have a mini Bic lighter, as well as a ferro rod and striker, which can throw some sparks. So I've got two different ignition sources, and I've got a couple of different things for them to ignite. I have tea candles, so that if I've got a case where I've got wet tinder, having the tea candles is nice in addition to just a light source. And then I also have a couple of cotton balls that are soaked in Vaseline that I've got in a little plastic baggie here so that the Vaseline doesn't get all over everything. The last item in this little fire kit doesn't have anything to do with fire at all. It's a small needle and thread. I keep it in this Altoids tin because it'll fit, and because of the fact that I don't want the needle puncturing anything that it shouldn't. Obviously, needle and thread is mainly going to be used for tears in clothing or gear or something like that. But one first aid trick you can use with this is if you get a blister and it's a big enough one that you're having issues with it refilling, what you can do is you can take a short length of thread, run the needle through the blister, and then leave the thread hanging out on each end. That way you don't, you know, the thread is a pathway for the fluid in the blister to drain off, so that you don't have to deal with that blister filling back up and having to, you know, re-pop it. But at the same time, you don't have to tear the skin all the way off to keep that fluid from building up. So from a first aid standpoint, you've got that. I would have to be in a really, really crazy situation before I actually tried to use this to stitch myself up. I'm not that hardcore. I would probably end up hitting the SOS button on my GPS and calling in, you know, real help. But there you go. There's one first aid kit use. So this is what I carry with me in my personal baggie all the time when I'm in the backcountry. If there's something really important that you feel like I left out, or if you have any comments, I'd love to hear them. I'm looking forward to the trip here in a couple of weeks. I'm super excited. I love you. I can't wait to see you guys.